Yeah, man. So good to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Oliver Pierce of Jive Talk, talking about vapes. Everyone vapes.
Everybody vapes, man. I go analog most of the time with just regular old cigarettes, you know.
Yeah.
But
Do you remember back? Because I've been vaping for years.
Mhm.
Remember back in the day when people would like build their own
Oh my God.
coils?
That
Were,
was
were you that guy? And were
Never.
you the
never,
dripping the juice?
never was I ever that guy. My little brother was. And it was such like a culture to it. It's like specking out a computer or something. The way they had their tanks and the batteries
Yeah,
and
for
changing
sure.
their settings. I'm always just a grip it and rip it kind of guy. I
Yeah,
don't care
the
too much.
disposables changed the game,
They really did.
and the hide bars kept fucking leaking on me, and I'd have like plenty of juice in there, but the battery would run out or something like that. I was just
Yeah.
having like a lot of problems, so I just said fuck it.
I tried a hide bar, and then my manager actually was on the elf bar stuff, and like 5,000 rips, and it's rechargeable, and
Yeah,
for the amount I use it, it lasts me a couple weeks, so
Yeah.
that's chill for me.
hell yeah. What video games you on?
Man, also recently, just pretty much just been doing solo stuff like world building. Stardew Valley, I'm into. I don't. Have you seen that new game where you're like playing as a cat and you're like Stray? Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
I've got many friends on the Stray front right now, and
Looks like
making
fun.
me insanely jealous. And
Yeah.
so as soon as I get some time, I'm gonna lock myself in my room and
Have you
probably
played
smoke
Untitled?
some.
Have you played Untitled Goose Game?
No,
Oh man, do you know what that is?
no.
Okay. It's like this game where like there is no dying, it's just you're like this goose and you run around and wreak havoc, and then you gotta like, it's like really whimsical,
Sure.
and you basically gotta like just f- with the people in the town and try to get away.
So can you?
It's fun.
A big thing for me in games is like being able to like level up or have like a specialty of some kind, or like put
Yeah.
attributes towards something. Can you like level up your goose?
No,
or,
I don't. No,
You're just a straight
it's
up
it's
goose.
very simple.
Hell yeah.
It's very simple. I'm into first-person shooters. I'm pretty much saving up and getting a new PC,
Mm.
pretty much solely for Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, sick.
And that was like my jam back in the day. Halo 2, Halo
Mhm.
3,
Did you ever get
Modern
into
Warfare 2.
Apex?
I did not play Apex, but that's just because I'm not a big Battle Royale
Gotcha.
kind of guy. I like the classic, like Call of Duty or Halo 4v4
Sure.
arena shootout thing.
Yeah.
I have played a decent amount of Warzone and whatnot. Fortnite.
Mhm.
It's funny that Fortnite just got good finally, like 4 years after creation, because now they have like zero build.
Oh, yeah, no, I heard about that.
Yeah, and that was like my big gripe with Fortnite,
Mhm.
because I would just like, there would just
It's
be
just
all
a
these
building
sweaty,
game.
yeah,
Yeah.
like all these sweaty kids on their PCs, and I just never got good at building.
Yeah.
And it was just I was like, okay, I'm done with this game.
Yeah.
But no, I've watched a decent amount of Apex and Valorant,
yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
When I play
yeah.
with my friends from like college or high school or whatever, that's usually what we play. Apex. We used to play Overwatch a lot.
Okay,
like
that's fun.
way too much Overwatch.
Right.
But I got burnout on that, and Apex is kind of what we do now. I haven't
Yeah.
played it. I've just been busy, and
Right.
I hate it because I don't know, video games are such a not only a way to keep up with friends who aren't here. That's pretty much what
Yeah.
we're doing, is just chilling. But like just like an escape from reality is pretty chill sometimes, you know.
Yeah, you watch Twitch?
Nah. I'm a casual gamer in that sense. In
Mhm.
that I got what I got, and I don't follow anybody, or really. My friend's really into like the stats and the buffs, and he knows exactly what this is
Yeah.
gonna do, and I'm like, I don't really care, man. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
personally, but mad respect to those who can make a living doing that shit, man.
Yeah, it is wild how it's become like a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Oh yeah,
It's crazy.
esports in general.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm on Twitch and YouTube freaking more than I care to admit.
Oh yeah, watching or streaming?
Yeah, no, I know. Watching, definitely. Man, I don't know why. I love watching speedruns. Battle for Bikini Bottom in particular. There's this one dude who speedruns nothing. That's all he speedruns is Battle for Bikini Bottom, and it is the most entertaining thing ever. How broken those games are.
What was it? What was that on? Was that PS2?
It was on like Xbox. It was like oh man, way back in the day, man. That was such a great game.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could talk all day about like the PS2 and the Xbox 360.
For sure.
Oh man, those were that was like the heyday of video games.
It was, man, a lot of hours.
And we went to Game Terminal last night, which is the barcade.
Yeah, it's got the huge outdoor thing in the back.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's amazing.
I went there for my birthday, actually.
It's so sick.
It was really cool.
So sick, man. We were there till like way too late. And man, those video games from the 80s, you know, so much fun.
Yeah.
There's this
and hard as
dude. There's a Michael Jackson one.
Yeah.
There's a Michael
Thriller,
Jackson
right?
well, no, you got to like save Annie.
Oh my god.
It's hilarious. I'll have to like find it and put some gameplay up on because it's so amazing. Just how dated it is, and and the concept is him saving a bunch of children, and when the level's over, a bunch of kids just swarm towards him. It's amazing.
Oh god.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and then after that, I was looking for like the Bill Cosby one next. I mean, there had to be, I'm sure.
I'm huge into pinball. Huge, also pretty casual, but I get really serious on pinball when I'm at the Flappers. And I lived in New York for a few years, and
no way.
And there was this place there. My roommate was like nationally ranked in pinball, so he was like such a pinhead, and there was a place where you could pay just like by the hour, and that's where you like practice because you're not shelling quarters out over and over again. You pay $20 an hour, and you can play however much you want to, and that's where you get to know the machines. But it was a cool time.
That is wonderful. What about, have you been to Mckays?
No, I've heard so much about it.
How long have you lived in Nashville?
It's 2 years now.
2 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the first year didn't really count. I moved here the day before the tornado, and then COVID was like a month later.
You didn't move to East Nashville, did you?
I did move to East Nashville. I was like less than a mile from 5 Points. It was
man.
I always just say I brought the tornado with me,
Yes. It doesn't happen a whole lot here. Or I guess.
Well, there was the other big one.
There was the flood,
right?
And then
I remember that.
It's usually just hot as all hell. But no, man, you got to go to Mckays.
Mm-hmm.
It's out west. It's a little bit of a drive, but next time you and your buddies have a few hours to kill, go to Mckays. It's freaking amazing.
It's like books, games.
They have everything.
Really?
Like, and even if you're not into reading, you'll just like walk through, the halls, and there's just like rows and rows of used books and shit. It's amazing. And yeah, video games. I got that GameCube controller from Mckays.
Right on.
Plenty of stuff.
Oh, look at your Wii situation.
Yeah,
man.
we got Wii, the Switch, and a PS5.
Nice. How'd you get a PS5?
We actually, my roommate worked his magic. We've had that thing for like almost a year. I'd say like 8 or 9 months.
I was subscribed to the Twitter that was like announcing the drops and everything. I just got so frustrated with it. I just quit. I was like, the day I see one like in a Target or something, I'll buy it. But I'm cool on it. I still got my PS4. I'm just kind of riding that right now.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, we've had a lot of fun with it, but we primarily play Super Smash Bros.
Who you
lot.
Who you main?
I always get laughed at because I main Jigglypuff.
Oh, don't main. That's a fucking bad bitch, man.
Oh my god. I'm also pretty decent with Yoshi.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty decent with Yoshi.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's sick.
What about you? Who do you main?
So I hadn't played in a really long time, and then we had to reschedule this because I had COVID. So I was locked up and I found a new love. I downloaded Smash Bros. And found a new love for Mario in particular. Mennonite, and like going back to the Melee days was always Link, back in the day. So
yes.
that's there. But had a great time with Mario this past run at it.
Yeah, Dr. Mario strong AF too,
and
man.
He's the last one you unlock too on the character, so I don't even have him unlocked yet.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, he's strong.
Nice.
All right, so going back, let's start with early life. So where'd you grow up, and what was how'd you do in school and all that stuff?
I am from Muhlenberg County, Kentucky, which, if you're familiar with John Prine and the song Paradise, that's what that's about. But
I can hear the Kentucky.
Yeah. It's in there.
You got some country.
So it was a small situation, and one high school in the county, and parents were divorced, so we split time. In the middle of the week, just going back and forth. I hated school.
Same.
I was terrible, so bad at school. And I was raised Jehovah's Witness, and so that kind of cut out all of the extracurriculars we couldn't really do.
I have so many questions.
Oh man, I'm ready to hash it out.
Oh my gosh.
No.
So was this? Oh geez. So your parents are Jehovah's Witnesses?
My mom still is, and my dad is not.
Are they still together?
They're not, no.
Okay.
They divorced when I was 8, I think. I feel like everything happens when I was 8, when I'm like retelling stories, but sometime earlier in the childhood, yeah.
Okay, and so is this from birth thing, or?
Yeah. My dad was a Jehovah's Witness, and my mom wasn't, and in order for them to get married, she had to be Jehovah's Witness, and so he converted her in a way, and now he's not a Jehovah's Witness, and she is. Did a little flip flop, a little hoosky doo on that one.
Have you seen Book of Mormon?
The Broadway show?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yes,
I have.
I hear a lot of similarities between the Mormon and the Jehovah's Witness thing. Were you ever a door knocker kind of guy?
Oh yeah, man. And
no way.
It's called field service. Going out in service.
Field service.
Yeah.
This
and
is getting more Scientology as we go, man. I love
you're
this.
assigned back in the day. It was a laminated placard of a neighborhood with streets hand drawn. And you would on Saturdays, we'd meet at the church, and they would hand out those territory cards, and we would all hop in a van, and you just go peel off and go knocking. And you got the Watchtower and Awake magazines, which are their 2 publications in magazine form, just talking about different concepts. Where do you go when you die, or I don't know, fucking secular music. I don't know. You can't even remember what they were all about, but it covered a new topic every week, and that was what we were, that was our kind of icebreaker when we knock on the doors. Hey, we've got these new issues of the Watchtower and Awake magazine. Have you thought about where you're going when you die? And try to strike up a conversation and set up a Bible study.
Right. So very Puritan childhood.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, I don't even know what Puritan means, but
I mean, it is what it sounds like. Just very pure, no drinking,
for sure.
No swearing,
no tattoos, no smoking, it was, and what makes it a cult is the ostracization of anybody else.
Right.
When you're in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky, think of how many Jehovah's Witnesses have you met, in your life. Now shrink that down into Muhlenberg County, Kentucky. So the closest kids of our age were 20-something when we were 8, and my brother was 12, and the other one was 5 or so. So it is difficult to you're separating you from society and social societal norms, because that's worldly or whatever.
Right.
It was a trip for sure.
Right. And so when do you and are you having thoughts along the way of legitimacy of what you're believing, or did you ever have because I think at a certain time, especially in like your early teens, you're starting to, come about all these ideals and actually like, hardcore think about what you actually believe. Especially those of us who grew up in the church definitely know what that experience is like. And for me, like it could be as late as like when like your parents kick you out of the house, and then it's kind of like a make or break time, and a lot of kids just like aren't prepared for that life, I guess, when they go off to college.
For sure.
But when did you start? Because I mean, obviously now, I mean, it's you're out of it now. But when did the thoughts of like leaving that faith start to happen?
Well, the thing is, it was there's never really an option to leave, especially when you're a kid or even a teenager. That's not something you can really decide for yourself, because if you are not going to church, if you're baptized and you're not going to church, then you're disfellowshipped, or you nobody can talk to you.
It's like exile.
It is, you have to sit in the back of the church. Nobody can talk to you until you're reinstated. I was never baptized, so, but the thing is, you go to church 3 times a week, and you don't know anything other than that, and you're in a small town, and you don't really have like friends outside of that, so it's like what else is there other than this? So in terms of the legitimacy, in terms of like believing in it, I'm not sure I ever believed in it, but I was like rehearsing lines for a play or something, and knowing what to say and when to say it, and you get positive affirmation from people in the congregation or your parents for doing a good job, and for you saying the right thing at the right time, and that's that's what you look forward to. But I'm not sure I ever truly believed in any of it. Leaving it, my mom with my stepdad had a kid, and they were from Philadelphia, and so they moved there for a year and a half or so, and I was in high school to be closer to them. And so my mom was no longer making us go, and my dad married my stepmom, who was not a Jehovah's Witness, so he wasn't really going anymore, so nobody was really there to make us go anymore. And so we just kind of quit doing that, and that's when life began, good sir. That's when it all happened.
Yeah. Well,
everything at once.
At least they don't come after you like in Scientology. At least it's not that. It's not that.
And I
serious.
think they. I mean, my dad was My dad was an elder, like in the day, and has you're like automatically disfellowshipped when you get a divorce. It's like against God's law, and so they do come to your house, but it's not like with a gun, or like you owe us money, or like we're gonna hurt you. It's like, we're not going to stop bugging you, and we're going to cut you off completely from your entire family and everything you've known for 40 years if you don't come back, So what do you do in that situation? You're kind of limited, and that's the way they like it.
Yeah, that's no joke, man. So what was moving out like?
It was all very fast. I started doing theater, like stage acting, my senior year.
High school?
Yeah, senior year of high school. I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do before then. And so to find that, and to also be good at it, and have people tell you you're good at it, you're like, this is what I'm going to do. And that's what got me out of there. I went and auditioned for scholarships at a couple of state schools, ended up going to WKU for musical theater. And that's, as much as I like harp on myself for getting a degree in musical theater, it's like that is what got me out of Muhlenberg County, and that's what helped me travel across the world and meet all these crazy people, and kind of form who I am today. So no regrets.
Yeah, exactly. So you went to WKU, West Kentucky
Western
Kentucky University.
Mm-hmm.
And so so are you friends with like the rest of your bandmates, or have you not met yet, or do you meet when you're in Nashville?
So
that like
it was
homies?
No. So Isaac is the first one I met, and that was the day we were registering for classes. So school hadn't even started yet. It was the summer before, and I love telling this story, and I tell it so many times, but goddamn, I'm gonna tell it again. We were in this huge the arts college orientation type deal where they're talking about what to register for and whatever. And I was walking out with my high school friend, and I overhear Isaac asking one of them. He asked, what's musical theater? I see musical theater listed as a major here, and he didn't know what that was. And I was like, follow me to the Chick-fil-A, good sir, and we'll talk all about it. And, we were 18, and that's where I met Isaac. He grew up with Ben in Chihuahua, Mexico. Their parents were missionaries, a whole other religious side of things. And then once they graduated high school in Mexico, his family's from Kentucky, and so he went to WKU, and I overheard him say that, and then that's how Jive Talk all started.
Okay, so it started at WKU essentially?
Yeah, essentially. No, that was Isaac and I goofing around pretty much, and really experimenting at first with, just what it's like to make sound in general. Isaac has always been an extremely talented musician, and I haven't, but I was going to school for singing, and so I was like, I'll just sing on top of what you're doing.
Cool. Yeah, you can definitely tell with your live performances that it's, there's definitely a theater kid aspect to it, man. I mean, you're...
What makes you say that?
Well, just you're just your charisma, and you're freaking flopping around. You're going into the crowd, and it's wild, man. You were just you just did a bunch of shows. Tell me about like the Basement East, and you opened up for Cadillac 3, and you also played with them vibes. Yeah, tell us about those shows and how much we're gonna miss Cannery. And all that stuff, man.
Man, the shows are always a wild time, man. There is an element of theater, to it all. We like to make it a moment and not just 5 dudes up there with guitars singing songs, but give, I don't know, some extra element to make it something memorable, something that I would want to see, is what I guess we're all trying to create. So little things here and there. We try to coordinate outfits. We like to have a theme for our outfits. We played the Bobby Hotel with the Brummies, and they were like, everybody wear purple and wigs, and so we wore these like 6XL purple shirts. It looked like we had just escaped from a mental hospital, and that was a grand Ole Opry of a time. Whatever we can do to have a little fun up there while playing our stuff. Them vibes were dope. Super funky dudes. The Cadillac 3, that was such a wild time. It was so short notice, and just like I got like goosebumps when we found out we were playing that. To be playing that, it was the day before. It was like its second to last show, and sold out. It was definitely the biggest show we've ever played for. And those fans, the Cadillac 3 fans, are just so in it, dedicated, and that is a really cool thing. So that all those were. It seems like forever ago, but I guess it was just a couple months ago. But we've had a really great experience. We've just playing live here in Nashville for a little over a year, and all those are really cool, kind of like milestones in our live performance history.
Because I've literally had dreams and nightmares where
oh my god,
I haven't hit the record button and they're walking out the door.
That's the classic.
Yes.
Serving tables, and you go to sleep and you're like, table 7 didn't get their fucking ketchup.
Yes. I have a reoccurring nightmare where I can't find the classroom, and I'm like walking around. It's like my middle school that I grew up in, but like 10 times bigger, and it's like a maze. And I'm trying to get to class on time, and I can't find the right room. That's like a reoccurring nightmare.
I fucking hate being late.
Yeah,
I hate
same.
being lost, and I hate being lost and late, man, at the same time. I was almost having one of those outside here trying to find out. I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah. Any pet peeves that you have in particular?
Pet peeves. I would say, for the most part, I'm a pretty chill guy, and things that, like, I don't know, annoy me don't really get under my skin enough to make me say something. My bandmates would probably disagree with me there, but when they listen back to this. But in general, in life, like not respecting a space, like whether it's a shared space or a green room space or my own personal space. But like, I feel like that's such an easy thing that everybody should be cognizant of, and a lot of times maybe it's not that person's fault that they're not doing it intentionally, but in my mind, I'm like, it seems like a no-brainer. So that can get under my skin sometimes, or if I'm talking to somebody and they're just waiting for their turn to talk, that not really listening, that I'm like, I'm over this.
John Mulaney has a thing about that, but
I love John Mulaney.
Yes. Do you like stand-up comedy?
I do love stand-up comedy.
Nice. We were just at Zany's. We saw Dave Attell.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, my girlfriend had never been to a stand-up show, and I wanted her to, her first show to be one of the greatest comics of all freaking time. And then we're going to see Brian Callen.
I'm not familiar.
He's, do you know who Brendan Schaub is?
No.
Okay. You know who Joe Rogan is?
Yeah.
He's, these are friends of Joe Rogan's, and, man, yeah. There's I guess one of his friends has been under a lot of fire. He just came out with a comedy special that was not funny at all, and he's had some like nasty comments like thrown his way. Like their subreddit is insane of just how like the community has just turned on this dude. Anyway,
shit.
Yeah, but I love stand-up comedy, and I think it's actually a very important and valuable aspect of society, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Who are some of the guys that you like?
I like Mike Birbiglia.
Mm-hmm.
I think I love just great storytellers in general. Mike Birbiglia, Ali Wong.
Yes.
I like Pete Holmes.
He's funny. He has some good podcasts too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some of his interviews are great.
Check that out. And Mitch Hedberg is like my go-to on the way home.
Yes.
From a long road trip or something.
I can see that.
Just need to listen to something to keep me awake and just keep me giggling.
Yeah.
That's a classic go-to.
Yeah. Yeah. First concerts. What was the first concert you went to?
My first concert ever was Aerosmith and Kiss.
No way.
At some amphitheater in Kentucky, I think. My dad can attest to that, but that was a crazy time. But
Sounds wild.
Linkin Park was also up there pretty early on. I was a huge Linkin Park fan growing up. I'd say those were probably I can't remember which came first, but
yeah. Any festivals?
Nah, man. I just went to Bonaroo for the first time.
This past
past year.
How was it?
It was chill. Our manager hooked us up with some passes and went out there and camped. I could only go one night because I was working, but met Phil, our drummer, there, and just it's crazy to going to a concert is such an event of like, we have our tickets, it's at 7, got to be there, so opener at 8, and to have like all of that happening around you all the time. That's just a really special thing to be able to catch all these people at once, and also people that you weren't even there to see, and stumble upon them. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. The only way, I feel, well, not the only way, but it's, if you can get your hands on some passes, I feel like that's definitely the way to go. I've never been to Bonaroo, but I'm not exact on these numbers, but I think the attendance was down like an insane amount from, and I guess you didn't have any previous Bonaroos to compare it to. But yeah, I just hear a lot of people complain about like the size of the camp space that you have, and it's hot.
Yeah, it was hot, and water is, it's not like it's scarce, like there's fountains all over the place, but it's just when you're there, you're probably doing drugs, you're probably drinking a shit ton, and you are dehydrated as and the last thing you're thinking about is, I need to take care of my body right now. So it's easy to lose track of that, I found out. So always drink your water,
for sure.
Stay on top.
Yeah, hydration's key. Do you take care of your body? Do you work out? Do you eat healthy? Do you do the right things?
Man, I'm such a shit to my body, man. I'm such a little shit to my poor body. I go through phases of being like, I would like myself better if I were more in shape. I should probably try to fix that. And I do it for like a week or two, and then I'm like, I feel better. I don't need to fucking do that anymore.
Celebrate with the beer.
And that's kind of it, man. But I don't know. I don't think I eat like unhealthily or overeat or anything like that, but I'm also like, anything that I want or I'm craving, I'm gonna.
I've been doing that recently.
I just I don't know, life's short, just
life is short.
Drink the milkshake. Do what you do. What's your like preferred grocery store? You a Kroger guy? You a Publix guy? I'm a Kroger guy by proximity. It's just right down the street from my house. But there's also now a Publix like a mile away from that. So if I've got some extra change in my pocket, I'll go down to Publix. But there's the whole society that's on Trader Joe's, and I don't know. I went there a lot in New York because proximity. I just didn't really get it, but respect to those who enjoy the Joes. I just wouldn't go out of my way for it. I know there is one here somewhere. Is there one near? Is it near?
I don't know. I don't go there.
Gotcha. Where you go?
Well, we have 3 at the corner there. There's Publix, Kroger, and then there's a Walmart.
Walmart is a fucking chaotic time. Any Walmart, any town, you go in there, it's like you're in a whole other reality.
Well, that's just like the supermarket Walmart.
Gotcha.
It's not like
super center.
It's not the super center. It's just the grocery store.
I get mad anxiety in a Walmart, man.
What was the grocery store growing up in your tiny town?
IGA. That's what it was called, which I don't know if that's a thing anywhere else but there, but it was IGA and a Walmart Supercenter. Right. And maybe that's where that anxiety comes from.
Probably.
Because if I go home, I'm going to see somebody that I freaking know, and I'm going to dive into a ball pit somewhere and try to avoid that conversation.
Yeah. And holidays, how are you spending your holidays?
Man.
Are you with your family?
Well, here's the thing now. My mom doesn't celebrate any holidays, Jehovah's Witness.
Oh.
And my dad is just now starting to... It feels weird, it doesn't. It's not like this is the way our grandparents' tradition went. We go here and then we go here and then here. It's we kind of go to my dad's, and for like I don't usually go home for Thanksgiving. Maybe I did last year, but Christmas for sure. And everybody comes there. We like make our way through. It's always a random meal. It's like enchiladas or something weird for Christmas. And watch a movie and hang out and drink, and it's a cool time. I mean, the idea of Christmas is just
Mhm.
literally kicking it with your family and
Yeah,
giving
man.
each other some presents. So we've got that part down, but it feels I imagine if somebody were to see it from the outside, they'd be like, what the fuck's going on
Yeah,
in
yeah.
there?
Yeah, any signature meals growing up that mom or dad made?
Oh,
Were they good cooks?
beef stew. My mom
You a
made a
big stew
great
fan?
beef stew with some taters and carrots and just
Get a little comfort food.
oh
Just-
man, knocked me out, put me to sleep on the couch. That's good stuff.
I was not a fan of beef stew. I don't know if it was just the way that my mom made it, or I
Well,
don't know.
Let me talk to
Sorry,
my
Mom.
mom and see what she can do
I mean,
about
I
things.
have since, I can, I've since changed.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah.
So just judging by your Instagram, you kind of look like a cat guy over
for
at
sure.
So cats growing up. Were you always a cat? Were there always cats in the house?
Yeah. We never had a dog, and it was at my dad's just not a pet person in general. I think he wants a dog, but that's a whole other story. But my mom we always had like outside cats, inside cats, and the cats would always have kittens, and that was like always a great time because you get to pick out your kitten, which one's yours, and name it, and it was just always one of the chores was cleaning out the litter box and straightening up the cat garage area. So I do have a deep love for the kitten cattens, and I have one myself. Her name's Chugi. She's a year old. She's perfect. Got her from the Catio Cat Lounge. You ever been?
No.
It's by Opry. The Catio Cat Lounge.
Like patio, but catio.
Yeah, you
Nice.
can go in, you can get a beer and go in, and there's like 30 cats that are just romping around, knocking shit off tables, sleeping, and you can literally pick one up and adopt
Yes.
it that day if you want
Wow.
to. And that's what I...
Do you follow the Bodega Cat channel or the pages
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram and Twitter?
When I lived in New York, man, that was like such a lucky charm. I was like, I'm going to have a good day today because the Bodega Cat was sleeping on the ramen and he looked real cute,
That's wonderful. So you seem like a pretty well-traveled guy. You said that you lived in New York.
Mhm.
What was so where were you coming from again when you moved to New York?
So I did a year internship in Memphis at a
Okay.
theater after college, and then after that moved from Memphis to New York.
To New York.
Yeah.
And what part of New York?
I lived in Inwood, which is basically the Bronx. It's like the very top of Manhattan, 207th Street.
And was that for the musical or like the musical theater pursuit? Were you looking to get on like Lower Broadway and all that stuff?
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing is, I was auditioning and trying to just be a professional actor, whatever that means today, But the majority, a lot of it's not really going to Broadway or off Broadway. You might do some workshops or stuff at a frequent level, but a lot of it is auditioning for regional work. Like theaters would come to New York to hold auditions. You would go and audition. 3 months later, they say, we'll fly out to Sarasota, Florida to do this production of Mamma Mia for a month and a half. Then you go back to New York. But one of those times I did that. I was doing a production of $1 Million Quartet. I played Elvis, and it was at the Roxy Regional Theater in Clarksville, Tennessee. So I moved to New York so that I could fly to Clarksville 45 minutes from where I grew up to do this thing and then go back to New York. I was like, that was the turning point, I think, where I was like, what the fuck am I doing, man? I don't know what's going on.
That is... Wow.
Yeah, it was wild.
Clarksville is quite the city.
You got some opinions about Clarksville? I'd love to hear.
I mean, I've been there a few times. It's a military city for sure. Definitely a military town. A lot of you see a lot of Confederate flags in Clarksville. It's one of those cities. They have an amazing brewery, the Black Horse Brewery.
I was there pretty much every night because of their
That
beer
place is-
cheese.
Beer, yes,
Woo!
yes.
Me up, and Edward Steakhouse. Those were the two places because they were both right next to the theater. So jot over to Edwards or go to Black Horse after a show and drink yourself under the table. And then our apartment they had us in was also just down the way there.
Nice. I have a funny story about Black Horse. I was meeting up with my friend Case Arnold, and I left my freaking debit card at the Black Horse, and I left and was in Nashville by the time I realized it. Yeah. It was that.
Can I tell you a secret?
Sure.
My debit card is still at Donna's Bar in Bowling Green, Kentucky right now from the last time we played in like February or March. It was in March. And I still haven't gone to go get it. So I'm pretty much just Apple Pay and credit. I got credit cards that I just...
You can get away with that
for a minute.
Yeah.
I just really don't want to request a new card and have to change all my shit. And I also don't want to just drive to Bowling Green to turn around and come back. So Duncan McKenzie, if you're listening to this, if you mail me the card, I'll send you some. I'll Venmo you whatever you want. Okay. Whatever you want.
Yes. Yeah. That was a tough drive. I had to go back.
You did it that night.
Something like that. Yeah. Something like that. Any memorable road trips? I mean, you're traveling, obviously, with what you're doing now, but
for sure.
Like growing up, did you go to like freaking Yellowstone or Grand Canyon, or where have you been?
I went to Grand Canyon with my dad. Took us on a trip. The trip was to Las Vegas, which
that's lit.
I don't know, taking like 10-year-olds to Las Vegas. It's like I don't know what we're gonna do.
I think I've heard you'd be surprised.
We stayed at Circus.
Yeah, there's things to do with kids there. Yeah,
and that's all chill. We went to did a little flyover in like a helicopter of some kind of the Grand Canyon.
There you go.
Walked around and that was cool. Did go on a road trip a couple of years ago with Ben and my ex-girlfriend at the time, where we just rented a van and drove. We were just kind of driving west until we could like make the point where it's like, okay, now we have to turn back. But we made it out to Utah and like natural hot springs.
That's awesome.
Some camping in Colorado and just driving through Kansas, where it's like, I don't know, you could pretty much drive with your eyes closed. It's just dead straight and beautiful scenery around you. I'd love to do that trip again just to see. I love Colorado and the mountains and just the way, I don't know, the like clouds look different up there. It's like they look like you're, I guess, closer to them. It looks like they're cotton candy. It's nice.
Yeah, I love Colorado. It's the worst I've ever been sunburnt was in like 45-degree weather.
Holy shit. Cloud burn.
Yeah. I mean, they even told us, man, but it still, got in the top of my ears.
Shit.
My nose. Yeah, but Colorado was one of the best times of my life, man. I went there on a mission trip when I was in high school. Anyway, impulse buy. Have you made any impulse buys recently, like on Amazon? I've been making some stupid buys, or like at the grocery store.
Man, if I had money, I'd be doing it more. I used to do it a lot. I used to buy. Did you do tech decks, or did you do tech decks? Like
I know what they are.
So like, there's like professional grade fingerboards.
Okay.
Made out of like real wood with like real bearings and real polyurethane wheels. I follow a lot of fingerboarding accounts, and I have a lot of fingerboards, and that's kind of because that I could get away with that. It's like $30, which is still a lot for a little fucking thing, but it's super cool, and
that's content.
The mechanics, the mechanics behind it are I don't know, it like it's just like skateboarding with your goddamn fingers, So I skateboarded growing up, and I suck at it now, and so that's kind of how I supplement here and there.
Right.
It's a cool thing to do working from home. Just sit there and do that over and over again.
I think I saw Billy Strings do an IG video doing that.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. I almost met that dude. I have a crazy Billy Strings story.
Oh.
Do you want to hear it?
Please.
I was getting a tattoo at Gold Electric Club in 5 Points, and this was 2016, 2018, I want to say. And before I knew who Billy Strings was, he was like the only other customer in the shop besides me, and he was getting stenciled, and basically he didn't go through with it because they couldn't get the stencil right, or it was just like rubbing his wrist too much, and he didn't want to go through with it. And I got really down on myself because he was like, oh yeah, that's, he's like, that's Billy Strings. And I was like, I don't know who that is. He was like, oh yeah, he's like a artist or whatever. I'm like, oh, whatever. Didn't really think much of it. And then I heard Dust in a Baggie a little bit later, and then from there he just like blew up, and now he's like pretty much almost headlining.
Yeah, I mean, he was I think he was next to headlining.
Yeah,
one of
he's
the
like the
stages of
second
Bonaroo.
he's like the second or third. But man, but I messaged him on Instagram one time, or I commented on something, and he gave me a follow. So that's all okay, Billy Strings, thank you for the fight. Even to this day, I remember it like it was yesterday, man. I was freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much.
So funny.
Thank you so much. So are you in therapy nowadays? You taking care of your mental health?
Let's see, it was probably three months ago that I stopped taking. I was on Prestique. That I stopped taking Prestique. I was feeling.
I don't know what that is.
It's an antidepressant, and I've been through kind of the gauntlet of trying different. I've been on Lexapro and Wellbutrin, and I don't know. It always reaches this point where I'm like, I feel like flattened, or whether that's true or it's just in my head. And so I did it again with Prestique to where to stop taking it, and I feel okay now. I feel a little manic at times. I don't really know what's going on in my life, but it's kind of at that point where you're just kind of letting it all happen, and maybe in the waiting around a lane will appear. It's like, that's where I'm supposed to go. But I've done had a steady therapist twice, and I say steady. I did 2 sessions with them to the point where I was like, this is not. They were not for me, and then I kind of gave up on that whole idea. But not the idea of it. I definitely need a therapist, but with the health insurance situation right now, it's lower on the priority for me. But I feel that I'm gonna do a reassessment of myself once I find the time, and we'll try to figure out the way from there, whether I need to get health insurance and figure it out from there, or I don't know, there's the BetterHelp online stuff, which I'm even more skeptical about. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have a dedicated therapist?
Oh yeah. I've been seeing this girl for a while now. And she's totally helped me get sober, and I'm just, oh my gosh, it's a great experience being sober. There's a part of it that sucks, but also my body is just functioning so much better. But do you think that there's something to be said with the amount of prescriptions that are being doled out, and the mental health crisis that we're kind of going through today? Is it any shock to you that I think we're one of the most medicated countries, obviously, on the planet? Our pharmaceutical companies are running everything. I think it's no wonder that all these, antidepressants are being doled out to kind of rebalance kind of what's going on.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of things at play. I don't know anything at all about anything, but from my point of view, we're the way that the internet exists now, I think that is a huge. It's been going on for a while to where you're constantly comparing yourself to something else or somebody else, or all my friends are in fucking Europe right now, and I'm working at Sip Cafe right now, and that gets in your head. Or this 12-year-old's shredding the cello, and why didn't I learn to play the cello? My parents didn't take me to cello lessons, and now I'll never be a cellist. And this kid, so there's a lot of different rabbit holes that I love to go down and just have my mind attack itself. But I think that is a huge. You're definitely not wrong in the fact that if you want some pills, you can go get some pills. Just answer the right questions on this test, and you can get whatever the fuck you want to do. It's not hard to do that. So I think that definitely comes into play as well. But also, the world's on fire physically and spiritually, like literally and figuratively on fire. So like that, I think that like I saw something is like I'm trying to do my job, and then you read a bit of just like terrible news, and it's like there's nothing I can do. You just feel hopeless. I don't know. And you got to go back to doing your shit to pay your bills. That's
all you really can do.
Yeah, and I don't know, just have a good time and be nice to people.
Yeah,
that's my 5-year plan right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's important to stay up to date with things, and but it is, it gets very depressing.
Just a lot
for sure.
Every day.
But yeah, any future dates you want to plug, man? What do you got going on in the
we'll
future?
Be in Louisville next Saturday, or this Saturday, I guess. Today's Sunday. At the Flamingo Lounge with my boy Dave Christopher. That'll be at 9. I think tickets are $10, but it's our first time playing Louisville.
Nice.
Stoked about that. We are doing a run. Do you know the Districts?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of them either, but we're opening for them, and I listened to their music, and now I'm super freaking stoked. Nice. But that's gonna be our first like Northeast run. We'll end up in Jersey City eventually, making our way through there and New Hampshire, and find our way back somehow. Shout out Jordan Berger at Madison House for routing us through the Northeast.
Nice.
And yeah, we get our first festival in technically North Georgia, Chattanooga, the Valley Vibes Festival.
Nice.
That's coming up, I think, the end of next month. It's on our Instagram at Jive Talk. It's somewhere on there, the dates. I'm bad at dates, but
yeah, man. What's the tour bus situation looking like?
Oh, just a peach, man. Have you seen it on the Instagram?
No, I can't recall.
It's a big blue whale, right? And it says the Academy of BJJ on the back of it, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. No way. Yeah, we bought it just on the outskirts of Nashville. They used it as like a transport for kids to a jiu-jitsu class in a small town, and we bought it from that. 130,000 miles on it, and sure runs like a dream.
She's a beaut.
A beaut. Always just smells like us after a nice long run, so need to clean her out. Put some lipstick on her, but she'll be ready to go when the time comes.
Hell yeah. Well, see Jive Talk, Louisville, Northeast, whatever. Look on the site. You'll find them.
That'd be chill.
Yeah.
That'd be chill.
Well, hell, man, I appreciate you coming over.
Thanks for having me, man. It's been cool.
Yeah, later.